Wow. Honestly, you guys, I feel like completely emotionally drained. I have to say it's one of the most epic defeats I've seen us take in the final. 11-10 on penalties, with the final one being decided by Kepa in the end. You know, football's poetic just as it is cruel. It's a crazy way for this game to end. I still feel in disbelief that we've kind of lost this as well too. It still hasn't completely sunk in right now as I'm recording this. But I have to say, recently, these games versus Liverpool, you know, Klopp versus Tuchel, I think that we are just like completely even with them. And this is why these games are decided by the finest of margins. And in the end, it took their goalkeeper scoring the winning penalty after extra time, after 90 minutes, to secure the Carabao Cup final. This isn't just like a normal type of defeat. This is just like fate. It could have gone absolutely either way. But in the end, we'll look back at the opportunities we missed. And we'll look back at that one VAR decision against Lukaku, which for me, it just still don't sit right with me at all. So much to talk about, you guys. I hope you enjoy. But yeah, before we get into this game, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by Spitch. Spitch is a fantasy manager game which allows you to build your own very lineups, ranging from leagues to the Premier League to the Bundesliga as well too. Every single week you can win up to a share of 70k if of course you look to compete by putting in a little bit of money, and if you don't want to, you can try Spitch out absolutely for free and just compete with your friends and other community members for fun. As you guys can see, my games are currently live at this point in time. I can see in real time the points my players have gained for me. I can see the points they're dropping for me as well too. And of course I can see my overall rank compared to other users in different leagues too. But one thing I really want to get help from you guys with, I appreciate everyone that's tried Spitch out, download the app. I know a lot of you guys have done that. But one thing I need you guys to do now is to join me on my very own special community page on Spitch. This is very easy. In the description below, there is a separate link, so you guys try Spitch out for yourselves. It's a very fun app. Find a link below in the description. And getting back to the review, and I feel like maybe it's best to go backwards for this review. That penalty shootout was so epic. It was so ridiculous. It just perfectly summed up this game to unreal levels. And I guess that decision ultimately that cost us was the introduction of Kepa right at the end. Of course, be our goalkeeper for pen shootouts. Now, you know, it's been said that Kepa is a goalkeeper where in penalty shootouts, this is what he lives for, this is his thing. You know, we've seen it with our own two eyes before as well, you guys. And when Kepa came on as that final sub to make, this was clearly a tactic which Tuchel, Kepa, and the squad would have been prepared for. You know, there's a reason why we didn't use all 5 subs, all outfield players, which we could have maybe in hindsight was the best solution to do instead of relying on Kepa at the end. And did it pay off? Absolutely not. And I guess who would have thought that this game was so tight that Kepa would be the decisive penalty shooter right at the end. And I have to admit, when I knew it was him, I just kind of felt like, okay, he's kind of messed this up. And I felt like after that particular miss against Konate, where, you know, his hands weren't strong enough. They weren't strong enough. And that was his moment that he was waiting for after like 10 penalties to secure. I feel like his confidence wouldn't necessarily be the same. And it was proven in the end with a kick that wasn't even on target, wasn't safe, was cleared over the line. And wow, it's a shame. But against Liverpool, you know, these margins are so fine, these details are so fine. They're such a hard team to play against us, and they know we're goddamn sure we're a very hard team to play against as well too. But I guess, you know, and this is hindsight of course, unfortunately, you guys, but after we won the Club World Cup, you know, winning that in extra time from a penalty, you know, for me personally, I'm always going to be about using outfield players. You rely upon them because it's quite obvious that we spared the use of an outfield player because we were waiting in case it went to penalties because Kepa would be that guy. But in moments like this, you know, it's 50-50. And when you saw the penalties that were taken, these were some of the best executed penalties I have seen in a long time. This is by far the best technically executed penalty shootout in recent memory. I mean, some of the goals that were scored from the spot, and just some of the composure and just the sheer arrogance I was seeing from all players, ours in particular. When Havertz scored his penalty, my God, how did this guy react in the end? You see how he just literally quickly just brushed his hair between his fingers ever so it's like, I do this every day, bro. I do this shit every day. This is normal for me. I don't react to this shit. This is what I do. And then Reece James banging this penalty in, doing the same one Trent did, and then shushing the cop. I mean, come on, man. Like, I look at this team, I just think, yo, we got some real personalities. We got some real winners in this team. And I guess ultimately, I think one of the reasons why we probably lost this game in the end was because of that lack of experience. You know, we're playing against a Liverpool team where they have all their guys in the prime of their careers. They're playing against a Chelsea team where we have a lot of under 23 players playing in key positions to decide the game. And if it wasn't for just being ever so slightly offside, if it wasn't for some spectacular saves or for some very poor misses as well, we did enough in this game, creating the better opportunities, defending like absolute animals, like a team possessed. I mean, the way we played today, it felt like I was watching winners throughout. I'll be real with you. I felt like I was watching winners. But I felt that experience at the end was that final thing that cost us, because when it comes to being decisive in the moments, you know, that if Liverpool had those same opportunities, they are goals 9 times out of 10. Now it gets you thinking, okay, is it about going into the market, dipping into the market, spending big to sign more clinical players? I'm not even too sure, because that's why we signed Lukaku. But then playing in this setup, he's not necessarily at this point in time complementing things fully. Is it time that we just accept we have some of the best young players in the world? And once these guys reach their peak in like 2 seasons time at least minimum, we are a team that is challenging on every single goddamn front. Is it time we just embrace and accept that? You look at Kai Havertz, you know, playing as a false nine, one of the best games I've seen from Kai in recent times. You look at Mason Mount, how decisive he was in this game too. So unlucky with the misses that he had as well too. You look at your Pulisic, look at your Trevor Chalobahs, how this guy grew and grew and grew and grew into the game as well too. Reece James. You look at the players we possess, the team we have compared to all our other rivals. You see the youth that we have in abundance, that advantage we have in youth. And it just gets you thinking, the fact that these guys have been regularly tasting football at this level, games of this magnitude, of the highest order, and this is how close we were to like winning. I mean, come on, like I feel in perfect hands right now. And maybe if it wasn't for that one mistake Tuchel made, which I say this because it's harsh, but when you're playing against like a rival this good, Liverpool, you know, games, it's about the finest details, margins, and maybe if we relied upon trying to win the game in extra time by using all our outfield players, you know, Loftus-Cheek, I saw this guy warming up on the field, people might roll their eyes, but this guy has been a useful player for us at moments like this, and some of those drives and this close control, we've seen that produce things. You know, other players on the bench as well too, I think things are completely different. And, you know, this gamble on Kepa ultimately didn't work, and let's see what happens without you guys. But I think, you know, of course, there's other things to mention and discuss in this review. I want to talk about some players that, I mean, absolutely were just... I've got no words to just describe how perfect they were today. I mean, 2 guys in particular, Mateo Kovacic and Thiago Silva. I'm going to start with Thiago first. Honestly, I really feel like the performance I saw from Thiago Silva today, it's one of the greatest defense performances I've seen probably since like John Terry. I mean, honestly, can't remember no mistakes. The execution of everything this guy did in the game today, from 2 incredible, you know, goal line interceptions to, you know, perfect blocks, to the way he read those runs, closed those angles down as well too, the tackles, the way he left this offensive line to win those balls high up the field as well too, the skill and composure when it came to playing between the lines too, and the way this guy was playmaking out from the back. Honestly, 37 years old. I mean, this guy needs to reveal what secret juice he's on, because it doesn't make any sense, yeah? It don't make sense. I was speaking to my girlfriend. I was like to, you know, Thiago Silva's on screen. Babes, how old do you think this guy is? She honestly thought he was 26 years old. I was like, can you believe he's 37? How can I look older than Thiago Silva? Can you imagine that? Yeah? Can you deep that? Like, honestly, it's such a privilege to like have a player of this level and caliber playing for us, because they play the game at a completely different pace. And of course, Mateo Kovacic, I think one of the greatest midfield performances that he's put in, honestly. Wow, he was like a one-man army at times, you know? Like to outshine N'Golo Kante. I haven't seen any Chelsea midfield do that in like finals, but I mean, Mateo Kovacic was, The level of performance he put in today was on par with other final performances I've seen from Kante. That's how good it was. I mean, this guy was an absolute animal and beast in the midfield. You see the tackles he was winning, the counter pressing, the slide tackles, the never say die attitude, man. Come on. And the passes on top too, the way he was dictating the play and spraying it, the amount of drives that he was creating as well too, the through balls in behind. My God, Mateo Kovacic. Honestly, the season he's having, I feel it's time for me, for myself, to accept that he has gone to a new level. Honestly, the improvements in this game is an abundance to see, it's clear. He's doing things that I've wanted to see for a long time. Don't just run into this space all the time. Let the ball move for you. Aim the ball, play those through passes, get them passes right. That was the last thing you needed to go to the next level. And I think today was like the perfect culmination of just like his improvement, his development, how he is. I mean, what a colossal performance. And when I watch this game again later tonight, I'm just going to watch it just to see Mateo play in midfield, because for me, by far the best midfield player on this field today. But, I can't just end this review without discussing, a few other players that had their moments too. I'm looking at Lukaku. I'm just thinking, he came on, Tuchel making like a very interesting choice, bringing on both Timo Werner and Lukaku to replace Pulisic and Mason Mount. With Mason Mount and Pulisic in particular, that front three with Havertz playing false nine. Wow. Havertz is a serious player, man. Serious player. And this feels like, as I was mentioning at the start of this video, maybe it's time to embrace the youth, because if Havertz played at least 50, 60 games, playing up front as a false nine, can you imagine the way his development is just going to literally exponentially improve just like that based on how he plays? Bro, absolutely got me gassed about Havertz's performance today. Do you see how intelligent those runs were? Did you see how he was constantly drifting off the shoulder of the fullbacks to get in behind and timing them nearly 9 times out of 10? It looked like maybe our players are poor, but you got to realise, and we can't forget, Liverpool play some of the best offside traps in world football. And it's so crazy how most times they get away with them, because they just like execute the offside trap to like a nearly ultra instinct level. It don't make any sense. But Havertz today, he was drifting, linking with Mason as well too. The 30 was bringing to the pass. Come on, man. And this is what I mean. If you fully invest and back him, like I thought was the plan, if we spent all that money on him, then let him grow and wait. Because I feel like that's all we have to do for a lot of the players we have in this team right now, to be honest with you. But Havertz, very threatening. Lukaku, when he came on, as I was saying earlier as well too. I'm looking at that offside decision, and it just, that doesn't sit right with me, to be honest, you guys. It's obviously the rules. I'm guessing it's a rule change. It just don't make too much sense, car. How are you gonna see this guy's elbow? Yeah, you don't score your hand or your elbow. And imagine that is a body part you're not allowed to score with in this professional game that rules you offsides. Now look at the legs, look at the feet, look at their heads, all behind. But because his elbow is out like that, is he not running like that? I don't know, but it's mad that kind of cost us. Because I don't know, for me, like I've seen games that Liverpool have profited from this year. And Lukaku, this is what I'm saying, like he is our most clinical finisher. The fact that you had one effort beforehand, which was close, and Marcus Alonso was also excellent throughout the game today with a nice little cutback to find him near post. But Lukaku, you give him proper chances, yeah? He doesn't need 5 chances to get a goal. And hopefully we can find a way to like find the best of both worlds, honestly, because if we can, then we'll have the player that will bury the chances we create. But also he has to complement how we're playing as well too. But I don't know, you guys in the comments, how did you feel about that one? It just feels kind of like madness to me that was ruled off, because that wins it for us, and the game's over, bro. It's done, finito. It's in this dust, it's in the air, it's gone. But regardless, it's that finishing though, isn't it? Like it's one of the hardest things to do in football. It really is. You've seen the chances miss. I'm looking at Pulisic start of the game 6 minutes in. Like, this is what I mean. If that's Mane, Salah, any Liverpool player, that's guaranteed goal. There wasn't enough conviction behind the shot then with that weight when he struck that ball. You're looking at Mason Mount as well too. Had another great opportunity, hitting the bottom of the post as well too, plus another 1v1 chance. Like, we created the match-winning moments in this game but we just didn't have the quality in those decisive moments of that pressure on us to take full advantage there. And I don't know, it's just like seeing that level of performance throughout the team today. I mean, that front three, you see how fluid it was. Like, this is what I mean by how tight these games are versus Liverpool, because, you know, they have excellent quality in the final third, but with us as well, we are like one of the teams that know absolutely how to play against them, how to target their weaknesses, how to get them. Like, do you see how many times we were timing our runs and behind their fullbacks time and time again? Even like Trent, looking at his game, he had a good game, but at the same time, defensively, he also wasn't as good at times, because we were constantly targeting his side, getting him behind him, and creating those, you know, big 1v1 opportunities that normally decide these games for you. And you look at how we play this positional style of play under Tuchel, it does feel like players like your Havertz's, Mounts always have to be playing together, because the way they play off each other, with each other, how they interchange positions as well too, and how they press from the front as well too, I feel like this team just can't do without them. And I guess it comes down to that final position. You know, is it a winger you have in your Pulisic? Is it like a out-and-out striker in Lukaku? Is it something like a Timo Werner that's going to look to make runs and stretch the spaces to find like your Havertz's inside the books? We have to decide and come to a decision on what we're going to do for next season. But if there's any issues with Lukaku, whatever, it feels like Havertz really is that ultimate forward for us, where now all he needs is the game time in this position to grow, improve, and go to that next level, yeah? But, you know, this review is going to be a long one, because there's so much to discuss in this game today. You know, I can't leave this game without talking about Edouard Mendy. I still feel like it wasn't the right decision. Even when Tuchel made it, I'm not going to sit here thinking I was so confident, I was ready, I knew that we were destined to do things in the penalty shootout. You know, when I saw Mendy make one of the best double saves I've seen in my entire fucking life, yeah? When your keeper who's playing the full game is pulling off, you know, like historic moments like that on the field, because if Liverpool scored that goal, this entire game complexion is completely different. Completely different, yeah? But Mendy pulled it off. You know, I don't know where this rumor came from that this guy struggles 1v1 and Kepa is better. Absolute nonsense. I swear my guy came through in the AFCON Nations Cup final for Senegal as well. So, you know, ultimately it just really was not that decision at all to be using Kepa in goal over Mendy right at the end of the game, where Mendy was the guy that made us get into extra time with an outstanding performance. And like, even when he made a mistake with a poor like kick out from the back, this guy's ability to just put off forwards doesn't get spoken about enough. You know, Salah with the weak lob in the end. Of course, look how big Mendy keeps himself as well. That surface area is just a black hole, man. You can't get past him or through him. And I don't know, I feel like after that performance today, like, nah, this guy had to finish the game. But, you know, I do feel immense pride from the performance I saw today, from the players, from everyone. There was not one weak performance in this game, not one weak performance in this game at all. And I just think that as a fans, we definitely have to be proud by the application, the level of the intensity, and the quality of the performance we saw from our very young team today, yeah? Honestly, this is why I'm a Chelsea fan. It makes me proud. That's why these games in the finals are such special moments, because I just feel we do things that other teams can't do. But ultimately, in the end, the cruelest, finest of margins was what decided this final. I guess against a very, you know, tight rival in Liverpool, it was naturally going to be like this based on every single game we played against them recently. And unsurprisingly, this was the way this game had to end. But regardless, you guys, you know, do I feel like the future's looking kind of dark now? Absolutely not. If anything, I feel even more ready for what's to come this season. I feel more confident. I'm looking at this team, these players, these guys, thinking, yo, we've got the core. We got the core already here, yeah? There's still beautiful things to come throughout the many years. So you guys, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Epic game, epic performance. Unfortunately, luck wasn't with us in the end. But, I mean, what a club we support, yeah? What a fucking club. And you guys, on that note, I'm EFC, this is Blue Line CV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.